So I'm going to show you how to take an object, in this case a carrot, and turn it from a single picture of a carrot, and when you drag it over to the vegetable garden, it will turn into 16 carrots, because you can plant 16 in a square, 12-inch square. For celery, when you drag it over to the garden, it'll turn into 4 celery stalks. So to see how this works, so I've done the carrots and celery, and it says drag and drop the item from the left to the center of the square in the appropriate garden. Now I'm not going to drop a carrot into the herb garden. If I do, it won't take because it's not the right target. But if I drop it into the vegetable garden into the center of the square, it turns into 16 carrots because I can plant 16 carrots in that 12-inch square. For celery, I can only plant 4. So I can build my garden, and you can move it back around to center it. And when I'm done, I can print it out. So I'm going to do the cucumbers. But in order to do the cucumbers, I have to create the picture of 2 cucumbers. I just go into Photoshop, pull up the picture, hit Control J to duplicate it, and then I take both of them and resize them down. I did a Control T to select all of it, and then you resize it and hit enter, and then I take my layer and move it over to 2 cucumbers. And then I do a file, save for web and devices, and I save it as a PNG 8. Right now it's just that single picture, and I'm going to overwrite that and replace it with the 2. Now I have my image that I need. So I go back into here and I duplicate it to a new state of drop correct, add, I go into format, change picture, and I select my 2 cucumbers. And what this is saying is when I pick up my cucumber and drop it into the vegetable garden, it will change to 2 cucumbers. So you can see how it's changing when I click on each one. I want to also make sure that the dropped cucumber is going to fit in my square, and it is, and I do Control Z, and I'm done editing the states of the cucumbers. Before I copy the cucumbers, I'm going to go into the form view, and I'm going to select the cucumber, PNG, to when it drags over the drop veggie garden, and that's this garden, not the herb garden, but the vegetable garden. So I want to preview and make sure that the 1 cucumber that I drop over is working before I copy it 9 more times. And it works. So now I'm ready to copy it. And I go back to my slide view, copy, paste. And then I go Control V. I'm going to do it 10 times and come back and I just delete that one. So I like to put these in order. So I'm going to drag them. Okay, what I need to do now is line them up because right now they're all over the place. I'm going to select all 10 and then I'm going to come up here under Format and I'm going to align center and middle. And that pops them all one on top of the other. And then I'm going to line them back up. And now I come over to Form View. I've already set up the drop veggie garden enough times to take care of the cucumber. I've already done the carrots, 1 through 10 on the carrots, 1 through 10 on the celery, and now I'm going to do 1 through 10 on the cucumbers. You have to be careful not to scroll when you're inside this because it will scroll up and down. So I want 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I need one more target, drop veggie garden. So I'm going to File, Save and save often. Go back to my slide view. Home and preview. So I'm going to drag my cucumbers over and it should turn into 2, and it does. And I can rearrange it to fit in the square. So I've got my carrots done and my celery. And again, I can rearrange these to fit in the center. They're not snapped to the vegetable garden because this whole square is the target, not individual squares. So I made it to where you could move it around freely. So you have to center it. That's why it says drag and drop the item from the left to the center. That to try to keep it more centered. And then you can print it out when you're done building. Now I still have to create the beets and all the rest of the vegetables and the herbs. And I will set the herbs to be able to drop in the herb garden, but not the vegetable garden. So that's how you set up the drag and drop, where it will change from one image to another. I hope this helps.